Hello, this is Ian, CEO at We Offer Wellness, and today, all the way down there in Eastbourne, I can see, is Jim, one of our providers from down on the South Coast. Hello, Jim.
Hello, Ian. Good to see
So tell us a bit about yourself for starters then. What do you do? What do you do with your days when it's not raining in Eastbourne?
you. Well, a bit about me personally or about my work? Which would
A
you
bit, a
prefer?
bit of both. Let's bring it to life,
A
you
bit
know.
of, yeah, okay, sounds good. Well, there's a lot of overlap, to be honest. I think I live in a way that I work, and I kind of work in the way that I live, which when I hear myself say that, sounds a little bit, I don't know. Yeah, so I love the work that I do. I think I've been working with supporting people in various guises for about 3 decades. And I'm particularly passionate about working with the body, the kinesthetic, the physical. So I box, I climb, done various internal martial arts. And when I work with clients, that's where I really focus. So I think the main change happens through the body, personally.
Okay, all right. So the respect for the physical, the suit that we wear during our times on this planet. You said climbing. What sort of climbing are we talking about?
So there's a local climbing centre where I climb, and I love that. The inner geek in me loves that. I get to challenge myself with various routes. 2 or 3 times a year, I go up to North Wales and get out on the mountains and climb some more scary stuff.
My wife and I, Lorraine, we were in the Peak District a couple of weeks ago, and I climbed a mini mountain. You know, I think it's probably called a peak, which is why they called it. So it wasn't really a mountain, but it was a great experience. So I take it you like being outside in nature.
Yeah, I've always been drawn to that since I was a kid. Yes, I love being outside in nature. I think it's one of the most effective ways that we regulate ourselves. I mean, talking of well-being, it's one of the most effective ways I know of to regulate myself and to help regulate the people I work with. So yeah, I've always loved being out in nature. Yeah.
Good to hear, and very much with you on that one. So come to us now. We'll come to the point about the experiences you have with We Offer Wellness. So what's going on there? What have you got, and what would somebody expect when they come into the platform and find you?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways that I work and sessions that I offer. Um, my kind of offering or my way of working is very much therapeutic. So I say in my work that I'm helping people to understand who they really are and what it means to be human. So one of the ways I work is what I call the deep dive. And in a way, it's related to kind of shadow work. It's looking at what's really going on that you're not aware of, that wants to come to light, that's holding you back, that's maybe causing stress or anxiety, that it's time to get in touch with. So I do this kind of idea of a deep dive session, which can be one, I mean, a lot can be done in 2 or 3 hours, or we can do it over a few. And that's really about clearing blocks and getting in touch with that authentic self. And the other way I work, which is a little bit more playful, a little bit less of a, well, sometimes it can be just as deep, but it's a bit more playful and a bit more embodied, is kind of more embodiment coaching and embodiment sessions. So that is what is showing up in the body and what wants to be expressed. And that can be really fun and playful and quite liberating. There can be a lot of laughter, a lot of release, a lot of aha moments. And it can also release a lot of deeper stuff that needs to be contacted and sort of integrated. So that's sort of the two ways that I work. There's a lot of overlap, of course, but they're the two main sessions that I offer. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, and so needed, isn't it? This sort of stuff in the world, you know, and that was always what we were about, trying to connect people with experiences that can be healing or healthy or enlightening or revealing or improving,
Yeah.
just something different, you know. So what do you enjoy? When you're working with people, clearly you enjoy working with people, right? So you certainly been designed in that factory, you know, when you came out, this was going to be for you, wasn't it? So what is it then that you enjoy working with people?
Oh, great question. I mean, there's to me, there's lots of layers to that. But I would say I'll throw two into the mix straight away. One is, and I was smiling when you said that. Since I was in my teens, I've loved. Well, it's not that I've loved it, but I've always been fascinated by people and what makes us human, what makes us tick, and particularly the extremes. What can cause, real pain and suffering and grief? What can cause real elation and ecstasy and that kind of celebration of being alive, that miracle of being human. So I've always been fascinated by that, and working with people, no matter what happens, something will always show up in the session. And I always talk about welcoming the mystery in. So I love being in that present moment with people, not knowing really what's going to show up, and the breakthroughs that come for people, those aha moments. So that's the main one, I suppose. But the other one for me is what I call the cultural piece, the cultural lens. Is I believe I've worked with some incredible teachers. I've lived in traditional cultures, studied wisdom traditions, and what all of that has made me realize is, things haven't worked out that well for us collectively in the West, in my opinion. We've got lots of things to celebrate. We're very fortunate. We've got lots of abundance and choice, but there's a lot of, kind of, what would I say? There's a kind of lot of malaise. There's a lot of mental health issues. A lot of people are suffering. So I've always been curious about why that is in the culture and how I can be a part of being that change to a healthier culture. So there's the kind of personal and the cultural elements that I really enjoy.
Now, Jim, that's wonderful. And it's always a pleasure to meet someone that just wants to see the human race a little bit more safely on its journey, individually, collectively. So that comes across loud and clear, so absolutely wonderful. If and when someone comes into the platform and they might not know what they're looking for, they might know what they're looking for, because we know people come in to the platform, they search and they seek, and that's a great human thing. What would be the key words if they were doing the keyword search that they would find their way to you? Can you give some examples, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So a few words pop into mind straight away. One is embodiment, or the somatic aspect of it. People that are curious to knowing themselves, not just in terms of the body, but being willing to make change in an embodied way. So I think talk therapy has its place. I use talk therapy as part of my work. I mean, how can we not, right? Because we're conscious and we've got language. But working with the body, to me, is how meaningful long-term change takes place. So something about embodiment and the somatic work. And the other one for me would be something about that shadow, that deeper part of ourselves. Even maybe getting in touch, and sometimes I call my work soul work. Something about getting in touch with that deeper part of us that a lot of cultures for thousands of years have been talking about as being an integral part of being human, that I think we've lost in our culture. So something about that soulful, deeper aspect of being human, the embodied part. I suppose the last thing I would put in there, I don't know if I put this in my blurb at all. I don't think I have, but I put something about the mythopoetic as well. So I use the mythopoetic in my sessions. I mean, with some clients, it will just pop up as a passing thing, as something that I'll introduce. With other clients, it will become a really formative part of that deeper aspect of finding out who they are. So I'd put those key words in to relate to me. Yeah.
Wonderful, Jim. I mean, it has a note about it of that kind of natural philosophical and esoteric seeker, and walking alongside somebody else whilst they have their journey, and you have your journey. This happens to be the same path, but there's this kind of wonderful tone that comes across, and I hope people do come and connect with you and engage in such an experience, because it feels like it could be a very rich experience and very valuable. So we're glad to have you with us. Absolutely. People come and find Jim Gibson, all right, who's working away down there. Connect, have those conversations, and see where it can take us. So, Jim, thank you ever so much for doing this, and we'll connect again soon. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good to talk to you.